Lie down now and let the darkness hold you. Tonight, we gently touch the deepest ache within the human heart, the silent, exhausting fight against change. We try to freeze the beautiful moments and desperately push away the pain. Yet everything flows like water through cupped hands. This fight, this fierce resistance to the universal law of impermanence, Anicca, is what keeps the mind restless and the body tense. I invite you to lay down that burden. We will not seek to change your anxiety, but rather, we will learn to trust the river of time. In the wisdom of Votuang, we find not loss, but the profound, soothing safety of the ever-present moment. 1. The river of life. Lie still now and feel the current of your life. Not the drama, not the tasks, but the pure, underlying flow. In the wisdom of the Dharma, existence itself is seen as a river of constant change. Every moment is new. Every sensation is a droplet passing, and every thought is foam on the surface. This is the eternal nature of Vothung and Aya. Nothing remains, nothing is static. This constant motion should be the most soothing, most natural realization of all. It means that pain cannot stay, worry cannot stay, and sadness cannot stay. All of it is designed to move on. Yet, deep within the human heart, there is a fundamental resistance to this truth. We learn to cling. We grasp at the moments we love, wishing to hold them forever. We grasp at the feelings we dread, wishing to crush them immediately. This grasping is what the Buddha called tanha, the exhausting, futile effort of the ego to demand permanence from an impermanent world. 2. The foolishness of freezing the flow. Imagine this. Your inner self is a magnificent, powerful river, meant to flow, meant to carve canyons and move mountains. But when the mind encounters a beautiful reflection, a perfect day, a feeling of security, a moment of happiness, it attempts the impossible. It tries to freeze the river. It says, "Stop. Hold this moment. Don't let it change." And when the mind encounters an ugly reflection, a thought of failure, a burst of anxiety, a physical pain, it also tries to freeze the river, to stop the current that might carry the pain further into the future. But the river cannot be frozen without immense pressure. That pressure, that tension between the mind's demand for stillness and the reality of constant change, is what manifests in your body as insomnia, restlessness, and deep-seated fear. You are exhausted because you have spent the entire day trying to hold the ocean still. You are battling the universal law, and the law always wins. 3. The clinging to the self. The most exhausting form of clinging is the attempt to freeze the self. Your mind constructs a fixed image of who you are, the successful professional, the loving partner, the person who doesn't get anxious. It tries to freeze this identity and then constantly defends it against the flowing reality of life. When change occurs, when you make a mistake, when you age, when you feel a sudden, unexpected emotion, the frozen self cracks. The tension of holding that fixed image, is what keeps you awake tonight. I invite you to consciously notice this pressure now. Feel the parts of your body that are tense, holding an emotion or a thought in place. This tension is the ice around your river. You are not holding on to the pain. You are holding on to the idea that the pain should not be moving, should not be changing, should not be here. 4. The first surrender, melting the ice. The first step toward the wisdom of Votung is not to force the river to move, but simply to stop trying to freeze it. Gently and intentionally release the muscular tension in your jaw, your shoulders, and your stomach. These are the physical points where you are holding on to permanence. As you exhale, let go of the need to decide what the next moment should be. Let go of the need to be the person you were yesterday. Let go of the need to control the thought that just arrived. Allow yourself to feel the natural, unstoppable flow of your own existence. This flow is life itself. It is safe, it is tireless, and it is carrying you now. In the deep understanding of impermanence, there is no need for effort. There is only the profound, restorative peace of letting go and letting flow. 1. The drama of the mind's hosting. Settle deeper into the cushion of your breath. As your body rests, observe the activity still happening in the upper rooms, the bustling, often chaotic environment of your mind. When a thought or emotion arrives, say, a surge of worry about tomorrow, or a flash of old shame, the clinging mind treats it as a permanent tenant. It believes this guest has come to stay forever. We panic, slam the door shut, and fight to evict the visitor. Or worse, we frantically clean the house, rearranging all the furniture, our mental landscape, to make this particular guest feel welcome, hoping it will solve all our problems. This battle of hosting and fighting is the intense mental work that prevents true rest. It is the exhausting resistance to the simple fact that thoughts, too, are subject to Votung. 2. The Zen of the Guest House. Tonight, we adopt the posture of the empty guest house. Imagine your consciousness not as a fixed personality defined by its contents, but as a spacious, empty dwelling. Every thought, every memory, every emotion, even the most painful or exciting one, is simply a temporary visitor. When a guest arrives, you do not have to give them the deed to the house. You simply open the door, acknowledge their presence with neutrality, and know that they will eventually check out. The worried thought arrives. I haven't finished the project. You nod. Hello, worry. I see you. You do not offer it tea. You do not ask it about its future plans, and you do not debate its right to be there. You simply let it stand in the hallway, knowing its impermanent nature means it will soon depart. The uncomfortable feeling of grief arrives. You don't try to lock the feeling in the attic or pretend it isn't there. You simply acknowledge, hello, grief. You are here now. Grief, like all things, will evolve, shift, and eventually pass on the current of change. 3. The power of neutrality. The moment you apply the wisdom of impermanence to your thoughts, you remove their power to anchor you. The thought is not you. The feeling is not your destiny. They are just events, occurring in the spaciousness of the guest house. Try this now. Find the most distracting, persistent thought in your mind. Instead of arguing with it, mentally place a small, clear label on it. Passing. See the urgency drain out of it. It loses its gravity because you have recognized its nature as a temporary droplet on the river of change. The host is not defined by its guests. The guest house is defined by its unwavering emptiness, its capacity to receive and release without judgment or attachment. 4. Resting in the empty space. Allow yourself to feel the profound relief that comes from non-attachment. You are liberated from the job of perpetual policing and permanent hosting. The house is empty, waiting for the next visitor. But even the waiting is empty, for the visitor may or may not come. This empty space, this neutrality, is the true resting place of the mind. Let the silence of the guest house envelop you. Let the knowledge that every mental event is destined to pass soothe your nervous system. You are safe. You are spacious. You are the unwavering host, resting peacefully in the ever-changing flow of life. 1. The illusion of solidity. As you lie here, feel the physical form that holds you. The clinging mind treats the body as a solid, fixed object, a machine that must remain youthful, pain-free, and predictable. This clinging to the idea of a permanent body is the source of much suffering, particularly tonight. You worry about a chronic ache, a strange sensation, or the simple anxiety of tomorrow's physical demands. But the Buddha taught us that the body, like all things, is merely a collection of aggregates, constantly being born and dissolving. It is not solid. It is a rapid, continuous current of energy, sensation, and chemical change. You are literally never the same person from one breath to the next. 2. The wisdom of the sand, mandala. In the Tibetan tradition, monks spend days creating intricate sand mandalas, beautiful, complex patterns made entirely of colored sand. These works are masterpieces of devotion and detail. Yet, when the mandala is finished, the monks ceremonially sweep the entire structure away, releasing the sand back into the river. Why? To remind us that true beauty lies not in the permanence of the form, but in the perfection of the process. Tonight, see your body as a magnificent sand mandala. The intricacies of your organs, the rhythm of your heart, the structure of your bones. It is all perfectly formed, but also perfectly temporary. The headache that arrived this evening is a fleeting particle of colored sand. The tension in your neck is a beautiful, temporary pattern. The clinging mind wants to solidify these sensations. It says, "This pain is permanent. This fatigue is my destiny." The wisdom of Vothurung says, "Observe the sand shifting. It is already beginning to dissolve." 3. Dissolving the pain of clinging. Focus your attention on the area of your body where you feel the most resistance right now. Perhaps your low back, your jaw, or the tightness in your chest. The pain we feel is often a compound of two things: the raw sensation and the clinging to the idea that the sensation should not be there. It is the frozen river again, demanding that the sand mandala remain perfectly intact. Now, breathe into that area. As you exhale, Imagine the sensation, the tightness, the ache, the heat is made of colored sand. Do not push it away. Instead, intentionally let the edges of that sensation blur. Let the definition dissolve. Imagine the wind of your breath gently scattering the sand particles back into the stream of your body's natural flow. The form disappears, but the energy remains, simply flowing onward. This is not denying the sensation. It is merely releasing your demand for its permanence or its disappearance. 4. Resting in the fluidity of being. Sink into the relief of knowing you do not need to hold your body fixed tonight. Let the bones rest heavy, letting go of the need for them to be positioned perfectly. Let the muscles slacken, letting go of the need for them to be ready for action. You are a fluid, dynamic process. You are the continuous dissolution and reformation of the sand mandala. There is nothing to hold, nothing to fear, because everything from the top of your head to the soles of your feet is perfectly subject to Votuang. This fluidity is the deepest possible rest. Let your entire form melt into the mattress, trusting the truth. This too shall pass. This too is changing now. 1. The burden of the story. Lie absolutely still. So still that you can hear the soft, internal hum of the universe. Every waking moment, the mind is busy building a story. This story is an intricate golden cage made of memories, regrets, plans, expectations, and labels. We identify with this story so completely that we forget we are the consciousness, watching the story unfold, not the story itself. The most exhausting feature of this cage is its demand for permanence. The moment you try to sleep, the mind panics. If I let go of the story, who will I be? If I stop planning, what will happen? This clinging to the narrative of may, this belief in a fixed, unchanging self, Atta, is the final and most powerful obstacle to deep rest. 2. The golden cage and the fear of emptiness. Imagine your mind as a beautiful, ornate golden cage. Inside sits the bird of awareness, your pure, unconditioned consciousness. The cage door is always open, but the bird often refuses to fly out. Why? Because the space outside the cage is emptiness, the vast, boundless, non-conceptual space of pure being. The ego, built on the story, fears emptiness because it mistakenly sees it as nothingness or annihilation. It thinks, if I am empty, I will cease to exist. But in the wisdom of the Dharma, emptiness is not nothingness. It is everythingness, minus the clinging. It is the boundless potential, the pure space where all things arise and pass without leaving a stain. It is the ultimate relief, the infinite safety. 3. The practice of emptiness. Tonight, we practice freeing the bird of awareness. We realize that the story is Vothung. It is constantly changing and dissolving, even as you lie here. Notice your most dominant label, I am a worried person. Observe the label dissolve. Notice your most pressing regret. I should have done that differently. Observe the regret dissolve. You don't have to fight the story. You simply stop feeding it the fuel of your belief. Recognize that all these labels are just ephemeral sounds bouncing off the spacious walls of the golden cage. As you breathe, allow the bird of awareness to step onto the open perch. Feel the immensity of the space outside the cage. This space is not scary. It is the most gentle, most accommodating place in the universe. It is the space that holds the rise and fall of galaxies, and it is holding you now. 4. Resting in boundless space. Feel the relief of anatta, the understanding that there is no fixed, permanent self to defend tonight. The you who was busy all day is gone. The you who must worry about tomorrow has not yet arisen. All that remains is the pure, soft, unbounded awareness. Let your body sink deeper, knowing there is no fixed center to hold. You are safe in the knowledge that your essence is the vast, silent emptiness from which all things arise and to which all things return. Let the boundaries of yourself dissolve into the boundless peace. You are the space, not the objects passing through it. Rest now in the liberation of the great void. 1. The fiction of divided time. Feel the pressure ease as you realize the mind's constant work is primarily the tireless effort of dividing time. It clings to the past, the memory of a mistake. The echo of a happy time you fear is gone wishing to make those moments permanent. And it grasps at the future, the plan that must be executed, the worry that must be managed, wishing to pull those uncertain moments into the safety of the present. In truth, there is no separate past and no separate future. There is only the continuous, unbroken flow of the now. Yet, we spend our energy trying to stand on two riverbanks simultaneously, pulling ourselves apart with regret and anticipation. This split is the essential tension that prevents the mind from settling into the singular rhythm of sleep. 2. The wisdom of the raft. Tonight, we find refuge on the floating bamboo raft. Imagine you are standing barefoot on a simple, sturdy raft made of bamboo logs, lashed together tightly. This raft is your body and your breath. It is simple, humble, and perfectly equipped for the journey. The water rushing immediately beneath the raft is the present moment. This is the only place where the raft actually touches the world. The past is the riverbank you have already passed. It looks solid, but you cannot return to it. The future is the bank ahead, shrouded in mist. You cannot step onto it, you cannot control what is there, and you cannot even see it clearly yet. Your only job is to simply stand on the raft. Feel the bamboo beneath your feet. Feel the slight shift of the water right now. This raft is the only thing that is truly real. 3. Letting go of the banks. Use your breath to deepen your presence on the raft. Inhale. Feel the rising of your chest, the now coming to meet you. Exhale. Let go of the need to look back at the receding shore, the past. Release the regret, the should-haves, and the longing. They are merely banks of sand that the river has already washed over. Volthung means that moment is gone, and you are free from its permanence. Inhale, feel the rise. Exhale, Let go of the need to frantically scan the mist ahead, the future. Release the planning, the analyzing, and the need for certainty. That bank will only arrive when the river carries you there, and when it arrives, it will simply become the now beneath your feet. 4. Resting in the continuous now. Sink into the absolute stability of the raft. You are perfectly balanced on the perpetual present. The flow of the river is Vothorng. It never stops. It never judges. It simply is. When you stand still on the raft, you are aligned with that flow. You are resting within the continuous, gentle current of time itself. There is nothing you need to fix from the past, and nothing you need to force in the future. All work, all stress, all clinging belongs to the banks. Feel the peace of the floating raft. Trust the flow to carry you gently through the darkness. The only time that exists is this simple, safe, unwavering now. 1. The heavy chain of fixed identity. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, feel the chain of expectation loosen around your heart. Much of the exhaustion that keeps us awake comes from the relentless pressure of fixed identity. We carry around heavy, detailed labels for everyone in our lives. That person is frustrating. That person is kind. I am a failure. I am a success. The clinging mind demands permanence from relationships. It wants people to behave exactly as they did yesterday, and it fears their evolution. This resistance to the Vothorng of others creates deep stress. We feel betrayed when they change, and we feel judged when we change. This pressure to be or to make others be something fixed is the exhausting work that never sleeps. 2. The wisdom of the unwritten scroll. Tonight, we adopt the simple, elegant perspective of the unwritten scroll. Imagine every person in your life, your partner, your child, your colleague, and especially yourself, as a pristine, magnificent scroll of parchment. The ink that has already been placed on the scroll, the past actions, the known personality traits, is Vothorng. It is fading, dissolving, and giving way to the new. The most vital truth is this: the scroll is always fundamentally empty. It is not defined by the ink that was placed upon it yesterday. It is defined by its boundless capacity to receive the next stroke of the brush. When you look at someone with the eyes of Vothorng, you cease to see their fixed identity. You see only the potential of the present moment. You stop reading the stale ink of the past, and you simply say, I see the scroll. I don't know who you will be in the next breath, and that is perfectly safe. 3. Letting go of your own label. Now, gently turn this liberating realization inward. Apply the wisdom of the unwritten scroll to the heaviest burden you carry, your own self-judgment. The internal critic that keeps you awake often uses the oldest, darkest ink on your scroll. It reminds you of failures, mistakes, and things you wish you had never done. It screams, you are permanently defined by this past mistake. This is a direct violation of Vothorng. The person who made that mistake is gone. That self has been dissolved by countless breaths, countless moments of change. You are not defined by the ink you spilled. You are defined by the empty space that remains, ready to receive a new, gentler stroke. As you lie here, consciously sweep your inner gaze over your own scroll. Acknowledge the ink. Yes, I made that error. Then dissolve the ink, but that I has passed. I am the scroll itself, empty and renewed. 4. Resting in non-judgment. The ultimate rest we seek is the rest of non-judgment. When you release the need to judge yourself and others, when you recognize that every human being is a Vo-Thung process, constantly dissolving and reforming, you are released from the exhausting duty of holding them, or yourself, accountable to a fixed past. Feel the profound relief of not knowing. You do not need to know if the person you love will love you tomorrow. You do not need to know if the person you fear will judge you tomorrow. You do not need to know if you will be better or worse tomorrow. In the absence of judgment, there is only spacious acceptance. Let the vast, silent acceptance of the universe permeate your being. You are the unwritten scroll, perfectly empty, perfectly safe, perfectly ready to rest. In this vast acceptance, no thought can stick, and no anxiety can anchor you. Let the gentle emptiness carry you into the deep, healing darkness. 1. The fatigue of spiritual clinging. Rest deeply now. We have touched the foolishness of trying to freeze thoughts, bodies, and identities. But there is one final, subtle form of clinging that often keeps the spiritually minded awake: the desire for a permanent, perfect state of being. You might cling to the memory of a past meditation that felt profoundly peaceful, demanding that tonight's experience be the same. Or you might cling to the future idea of awakening, believing that once I am enlightened, all worry will stop. This desire to achieve a static, perfect state, be it deep sleep or liberation, is still a resistance to Vo-Thuong. It is the mind's last, clever attempt to build a permanent home in a flowing world. This spiritual ambition, this craving for a better or fixed state, can be just as exhausting as the craving for money or success. 2. The wisdom of the dying flame. In the Buddhist teachings, the process of rebirth is explained using the image of a candle flame. Imagine the flame flickering gently above the wick. It seems like one single, continuous object, but in truth, the flame you see right now is not the same flame that existed a moment ago. The light and heat are instantly dissolving and instantly reforming. The flame is in a state of continuous dying and rebirth in every fraction of a second. The flame doesn't cling to its light. It doesn't try to be the same size or intensity as it was. It simply expresses the energy of the moment, trusting the fuel and the wick to allow its continuous transformation. 3. Applying the candle's truth to your awakening. Now, apply the truth of the reborn candle to your awareness tonight. Your wakefulness is not a failure. It is simply the current state of the flame, the intense awareness you feel, the soft hum of your mind. It is Vo-Thung. It is dissolving even now. Stop trying to force the flame to be dimmer, deeper sleep, or brighter enlightenment. Instead, just witness the flickering. If a thought arises, watch it burn out and vanish like smoke. If a moment of clarity arrives, watch it dissolve back into the silence. You are the space where the flame flickers, not the flame itself. You are the darkness that holds the continuous rebirth. Relief comes from the moment you stop craving the perfect flame. You are free from the ambition to be enlightened, free from the ambition to be fully asleep. Number 4. Resting in the process of perishing. Let this profound truth settle. You are not trying to become anything tonight. You are simply allowing yourself to perish into the next moment. The exhaustion of the day is perishing. The anxieties are perishing. The memory of the you who laid down an hour ago is perishing. When you embrace the continuous dissolution of the flame, you find the deepest peace. This is the ultimate vo-vi, non-striving. There is no destination, only the perfect, continuous flow of the present moment's demise and rebirth. Sink into the sweet, eternal darkness that holds the flickering light. You are safe in this continuous perishing. Rest now, trusting the perfect, unceasing change. 1. The clinging to absolute silence. As you lie in the quiet of the night, perhaps you hear a faint sound, the hum of traffic, the creaking of your home, or the subtle ringing in your ears. The clinging mind demands absolute silence as a precondition for rest. It creates a rigid boundary. This sound is acceptable. This sound is a distraction. It then fights the disruptive noise, generating tension in your shoulders, tightening your brow, and keeping your awareness sharp. This fighting is, once again, the futile resistance to the refusal to accept the temporary nature of noise. 2. The wisdom of the bell. Imagine yourself now in the heart of a deep, ancient, listening forest. The forest does not judge the sounds that enter it. It accepts the harsh snap of a branch, the gentle sigh of the wind, and the sudden cry of an owl. All sounds are treated equally by the silence that surrounds them. Now, imagine a large, perfectly cast Zen bell being struck in the distance. First, the striking. A sharp, immediate moment of sound, the arising. Then, the long decay. The sound waves begin to dissolve, stretching thinner and thinner. Finally, the return. The sound doesn't die. It simply returns to the silence from which it came, seamlessly and without a struggle. This is the pure manifestation of in-sound. The noise is temporary. Its destination is always silence, and the journey is one continuous flow. We find peace not by stopping the bell, but by listening to the decay. 3. Listening to impermanence. Gently turn your awareness to any sound you hear now, the internal hum or an external rumble. Treat this sound as a bell. The moment the sound arrives, release your judgment. Do not label it annoying or distracting. Simply acknowledge its arising. Now, follow the sound into its dissolution. Don't wait for the next sound. Just listen to the tail end of the present one as it fades into the vast space of your awareness. If a sharp noise comes like a car horn, it is simply a very short, very loud bell. It arises quickly, and it returns to the silence quickly. It cannot stay. Your resistance is the only thing that gives it permanence. By accepting that all sound is destined to return to silence, you align yourself with the natural flow. You are resting in the one taste of sound and silence, realizing they are two sides of the same coin. 4. Resting in the deep silence. Let your entire being become the listening forest, spacious, non-reactive, and immensely patient. You are released from the job of policing the noise. Every sound that enters your awareness is merely a brief phenomenon, passing through the boundless, quiet space that you fundamentally are. Feel the profound relief of this acceptance. The sound of the world is not a barrier to your rest. It is the perfect reminder of change. Let the sounds come and go. Let the silence hold them. Rest now, surrounded by the peaceful knowledge that everything you hear is gracefully, inevitably returning home to the great, unmoving silence. Twit voi. Chung ta se tiep tuk voi fun tun by 9 updung tri tue vo tuang vau hai trang tai kam sukan ban net kur kong mui. Ko dao dukkha va han fuk sukha. Chung ta se hok kach buong bo. Su bam view vao niem vui va su hang ku vai noi dao. Tim tai su on din tong quan bin. Doi ho zong sen. Zu vo fuang, gu han fuk va ko dao. The Twin Flowers. The Impermanence of Pleasure and Pain. American English. Narration style. The voice is gentle yet authoritative, guiding the listener toward a state of emotional balance and acceptance. 1. The exhausting pursuit of the unchanging sun. Lie still now and observe the deepest desires that still flicker in your mind. When we experience pleasure, a perfect moment, a feeling of love, a success, the clinging mind treats it like the unchanging sun. It says, I must capture this. This feeling must last forever. We grasp at it, and this very grasping creates the subtle tension that keeps us from resting. Conversely, when we experience pain, an ache, a disappointment, or deep sadness, we treat it like a permanent stain. We fight it, push it away, and desperately demand its immediate removal. This chase, the endless pursuit of permanent pleasure, and the fierce resistance to temporary pain, is the definition of suffering in the Dharma. It is the refusal to accept the anicca of all feeling tones. This pursuit is fundamentally exhausting and prevents the necessary surrender into rest. 2. The wisdom of the twin flowers. Tonight, we see all feeling tones as the twin flowers growing on the same vine of existence. On one side blooms the radiant flower of pleasure. It is beautiful, sweet, and mesmerizing. On the other side blooms the quiet, perhaps thorny, flower of pain. The key to rest is recognizing this truth. Both flowers are. Both are destined to bloom fully and then gracefully fade, and both draw nourishment from the same single, continuous vine of life. The moment you realize that the flower of pleasure is temporary, you are released from the desperation to hold it. You can simply admire its beauty in the now, knowing it will pass. This releases the tension of grasping. The moment you realize that the flower of pain is temporary, You are released from the desperate need to fight it. You can simply acknowledge its thorny presence, knowing it is already dissolving. This releases the tension of resistance. 3. The balance of equanimity. Upekkha. This recognition leads us to the heart of Zen practice. Upekkha, equanimity, or the state of perfect, unwavering balance. Equanimity is not indifference. It is the ultimate form of spacious acceptance. It is the calm realization that the rising and falling of both joy and sorrow are merely the natural breath of life. Now, gently bring your awareness back to your present feeling tone. It may be boredom, restlessness, peace, or a mixture of all three. Do not try to enhance the pleasant parts or diminish the unpleasant parts. Simply look at the current feeling tone and softly whisper, "This too shall pass. This too is." As you look upon the feeling tone with the clear eyes of equanimity, you cease to be the victim of the experience. You become the witness who rests peacefully on the vine, observing the twin flowers gently swaying in the wind of change. 4. Resting in the flow of feeling. Sink into the relief of knowing you do not have to achieve permanent happiness tonight. You do not have to eliminate all residual anxiety. You simply need to accept the flow of feeling exactly as it presents itself. Let the subtle waves of sensation, the rise of restlessness, the fall of a pleasant warmth wash over you like the gentle tide. Every wave is, it comes, it peaks, and it returns to the ocean. You are safe in the knowledge that no emotional state, no matter how intense, can anchor you indefinitely. You are the continuous, flowing vine. Rest now in the ultimate balance of the Dharma. Trust to carry away the burdens of pleasure and pain, leaving behind only the deep, silent peace of the ever-changing now. 1. The time to leave the raft. You have traveled far tonight, supported by the sturdy bamboo raft of the present moment. You have explored the frozen river of resistance, cleaned the empty guest house of demanding visitors, and witnessed the gentle dissolution of the sand mandala that is your body. Now, the journey is nearing its sacred destination, the great homecoming to unknowing. In the teachings of impermanence, there is one final, essential letting go. The letting go of the teachings themselves. All the words, all the metaphors, the raft, the scroll, the bell, they were merely fingers pointing toward the moon. You do not need the fingers now that you are standing beneath the full, silent radiance of the moon itself. 2. The final anicca, trusting the dissolution. We must realize that even the feeling of peace is subject to anicca. It too will dissolve into the unconsciousness of sleep. Do not cling to the peace you feel now, or you will remain suspended between rest and waking. The final act of surrender is to allow your awareness to dissolve. Feel your body becoming impossibly heavy, so heavy that the edges of your form begin to blur. Imagine you are no longer a solid body, but a collection of pure, warm water being poured slowly into the vast, still ocean of the night. The water of your anxiety dissolves. The water of your effort dissolves. The water of your identity dissolves. There is no longer the need to maintain shape or boundary. You are simply merging with the immensity of the ocean that already holds you. 3. The ultimate safety of unknowing. Let go of the need to control the transition into sleep. Impermanence means that this shift, this letting go, is happening perfectly right now, without your interference. You do not know when the moment of sleep will arrive. You do not know what tomorrow will bring. Embrace this unknowing as the ultimate form of safety. There is nothing to plan for, nothing to prepare for, nothing to fear. You are completely free. Let go of the voice of the guide. Let go of my words. Let the sound of my voice dissolve into the silence, just like the ringing of the bell. You are perfectly safe without external guidance. 4. Resting in the arms of Anicca. This vast, dark space is the true nature of Anicca, the continuous, loving, effortless flow of change. It is holding you, rocking you gently in its eternal rhythm of dissolution and renewal. Sink into the comfort of this absolute truth. You are impermanence. You are change itself. And because you are change, you cannot be harmed by change. Let your breath deepen. Let your mind still, and surrender your final fragment of control. Homecoming. Let go. Let go. Let go. The teaching is now complete. You have recognized that your deepest rest comes not from freezing the world, but from trusting the flow. Every breath is a change. Every sensation is a release, and every moment is an invitation to begin again. The great dark ocean of the night holds the certainty of change, and in that certainty there is absolute peace. Let your consciousness dissolve fully now into the seamless silence. The effort is over. The striving is done. You are safe in the embrace of impermanence. Sleep well,